Nobody prepared me for this. Nobody prepared me for a job layoff. My family, my teachers, my college professors, my graduate school mentors, nobody prepared me for this, but this is what I did in order to survive and thrive after a job layoff. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been quite some time, but I am back with some new videos that are going to be on this channel. I'm so appreciative of you being here. Be sure to make sure that you like and subscribe to today's video because this is going to be a great one. I'm going to tell you my story of being laid off. You know, there's so many things that are going on in the world today, and there are so many different job layoffs that are happening during this time. And I thought it'd be a great idea for me to share my own story of a job layoff. As you heard at the very beginning, nobody really prepared me for being laid off a job. I don't even actually know anyone, particularly in my immediate family, who had been laid off. And so, quite honestly, I'm sure my mother or family never even thought about informing me or preparing me for a potential job layoff once I got into my professional career. But I also want to share with you what I did after being laid off. And I want to give you some tips and things that helped me along the journey on how I became an entrepreneur after being laid off my job. It was on a Tuesday morning. I can remember it very vividly. And it was April the 4th of 2014. I walked in the office and I unlocked my door, walked into the office, sat down. I had my breakfast with me because I usually would stop and get breakfast before I got to work. And as I proceeded to sit down, I hear a knock at the door. And it was my immediate supervisor, who happened to be the legal counsel of the organization. And she requested my presence at a meeting at 12 noon with the HR director. And I immediately thought that I was about to be laid off because there was so much going on in the organization at the time. And one of the things that I want to emphasize right here in the story is that sometimes you really need to pay attention to what's going on in your organization, because the writing could be on the wall that you potentially could be losing your job. But I digress. And so as I proceed to go to the conference room and sit down, and the HR director was on one side and the legal counsel, who was my immediate supervisor, was on the other side, they proceeded to share with me that I was going to be laid off that day. And I really wasn't devastated by what they were sharing with me, but I was a little surprised at how they wanted me to conduct myself after that meeting. They asked me to go ahead and leave for the day and come back and get my stuff later so that I don't cause any disruption. And I found that to be very interesting, that they wanted me to leave immediately and to come back, which I would have preferred actually to take all my things at that moment and travel to my car and go home. But they wanted me to come back to get my things. But as I said, I really wasn't devastated because the writing had been on the wall for quite some time. But I was forced to make a decision in that moment. And many of you, if you're experiencing a job layoff, are forced to make a decision in that moment. And I'm going to share with you the decision that I made in 2014, hopefully to encourage you and to inspire you to make the best decision possible for yourself. As I sat in my car and thought about the opportunity, and notice what I said, the opportunity of being laid off, I had to ask myself the question, do I want to get another job, or do I want to bet on myself? Let me say that again. As I sat in my car that day, I had to ask myself the question, do I want to get another job, another 9 to 5, another job, or do I want to bet on myself? At this point, I had had about 10 years professionally in healthcare and in education. And I wanted to really leverage my own skills, my own network, and my own experiences to really create something for myself, because never again did I want someone to have that much power and control over my life. Because if you think about it, most of us work 40, 50, 60 hours a week on our jobs. And the great majority of us really don't like what it is that we do. Studies show that many people are unfulfilled on their jobs. We know that through the season of experiencing the COVID situation. And many people were relieved that they got to work from home and they got to do some things that they normally wouldn't have been able to do had things continued to be the same. Hence, we had this whole situation called the Great Resignation, right? Many people were resigning from their jobs during that particular season. And many people now are forced or faced with the idea of having to go back to their 9 to 5 after working from home the last 2 or 3 years. And so in that moment, I asked myself, am I going to bet on myself, or I'm going to go back to the resume situation, doctor it up, fix it up, and see about getting a new job? Well, that day, I decided that I was going to bet on myself and launch out and become an entrepreneur, to get into the consulting, the training and development space, and also to get into coaching, helping other people to, pursue their dreams and their passions, leveraging their skills, talents, and expertise. So my first tip to anyone who might be experiencing a job layoff or a pending job layoff, the first thing you really want to do is to stop for a moment. Don't be so quick to want to go out there and get another job. Don't be so quick to make a quick decision to get yourself back into something that you may not have been fulfilled with. But stop for a moment, evaluate the situation, and ask yourself, is there something that I can do for me that will produce the same outcome before I decide to go back and get another job? And so that's the first tip I want to give to you, is stop for a second and evaluate the situation and ask yourself, if you have an interest in pursuing something that is different from going to get another 9 to 5, give yourself space, time, and opportunity to consider it. Tip number 2 that I would give you is, as you are considering what you're going to do next, as you're pondering and taking in the full experience, because I don't want to take for granted what types of emotions that you potentially could be experiencing during the time, because I was going through a lot of emotions too. One of the first things that I had to experience in the first couple of weeks was I still was doing some networking things, doing some social events. And when people would ask me what it was that I did, I was really not sure. It's hard when, after 10 years of working in a particular profession, to have lost your job, you realize that, man, a lot of my confidence, a lot of how I showed up was connected to a title, connected to something that I did. And now I'm having to recreate life 10 years later, in my 30s, to figure out, what do I want the rest of my life to be? And that's the second tip that I want to give you, is that also take time out to write down, what are you gifted at? What is it that you're talented at? What experiences have you had that can provide value to others, even if you decide to go back to get a 9 to 5? These types of questions will really help you to decide on the type of organization that you may want to work for, or the type of business that you want to start. With my clients, I do personal brand strategy as well as some business coaching with clients, and I asked them 3 questions. I asked them to answer these 3 questions, and I think you should write them down as well. Question number 1 is, what would you do right now if you knew you could not fail? Question number 2, what do you love doing so much that you lose track of time while doing it? Question number 3 is, what is it that you love doing so much that you do it for free, but you could get paid to do it? See, those 3 questions force you to really think about, what is it that I really want to do? And I think you should take time out in this particular experience to really hone in on those questions, because it's going to inform you, even if you decide to go back to work, go back to a 9-to-5 and not pursue entrepreneurship like I did. It forces you to think about what that next experience should be to help you to become more fulfilled in the work that you did. Tip number 3. The next thing I did as I was evaluating pursuing my own dream and purpose to really launch out to become an entrepreneur after a job layoff, I had to take in what was my financial situation. Now, this is key because it will help to inform you whether or not you can go the route of pursuing your dream and your passion, to see if you can't start some type of business, or if you should maybe get a side hustle for in between time. But you won't know until you do a financial assessment. And this financial assessment that I did was that I listed everything that I had to pay out each month. Every bill that I had, mortgage, car note, lights, water, cable, internet, phone bill, so on and so forth. And I added it all up to see, what do I need to produce each month in order to survive? And as I was adding that up, I had to ask myself, now, based on what I have in savings and what I have saved up, how long can I last in pursuing my goal and pursuing this dream opportunity of becoming an entrepreneur without any income? And you have to do the same thing. You are the only person who knows what your financial status is. And yes, I understand that we live in a time and a space where the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and having the option of pursuing your dream after a job layoff may not be for everybody. But unless you sit down and count up the cost of all of the things that you have to pay out each month, you never know. There are so many different things that you could do today that I couldn't do necessarily in 2014 in order to replace your income. And so you want to make sure you take financial assessment of where you are and what you owe each month, because potentially you could eliminate some things that will help you financially to keep you from having to rush back into a job opportunity, and maybe consider starting something on your own. Tip number 4, make sure that you take care of your emotional well-being. Because being laid off, as much as I, experienced not such a tragic situation, I did have some emotional ties to my job, because everyone around me, they were employed. Everyone around me were professionals. And for me to have lost my job made me feel a certain kind of way around, well, how do I explain what it is that I do? How do I fit in now into the social networks? How do I fit in into the overall scheme of things as I am trying to figure this out? And that was what informed me how connected I was to a title and to a job. And the job layoff was more of a blessing than it was something negative, because it forced me to learn more about me. And that is the tip that I want to leave with you here, is that take this opportunity to learn more about yourself. Take this opportunity to learn more about who you are and how you provide value, so that in the next situation, you can easily communicate how you provide value, what you can bring, who you are, understanding and knowing what your foundational skills are, understanding and knowing what your foundational values are, because it's so important for us to know that. So important for us to know what our values are as we move forward after a job layoff. Tip number 5, still go out and network. You still need to get out there. I know it could be hard for you to go out and continue to socialize and network. However, it is one of the best things that you can do after being laid off, because now you have an opportunity to get encouraged or be encouraged by other people, to let them know what you're experiencing and what you're going through. You never know. That could be your next business partner. That could be the person who can introduce you to someone for a next job opportunity that you're passionate about. But you have to get out there and network if you have a desire to start a business or to place yourself in position where you are working in a job or working for an organization that you truly are passionate about and that really fulfills you. So network, network, network. I'll never forget a time where I went to a conference and it was hosted by George Fraser, who is a speaker and someone who I aspire to be similar to as a speaker, as a coach, as a consultant. And he had wrote a book called Your Net Worth is Aligned with Your Network. So your opportunities really can be found in your network. And that's something that I had to learn, because as someone who's an introvert, and most people don't believe that I'm introvert, but as someone who's an introvert to some degree, I, thrive in opportunities of being by myself. I thrive in thought. I thrive in silence a lot of times because it helps me to recharge. It helps me to be the person that I need to be when I am in public. So understanding that networking was so important and continuing to be important even after my job layoff. And so make sure that you don't become someone who stays in all the time and you get down on yourself and depressed, but continue to get out there, meet new people, and network with others. Tip number 6, be confident in yourself. Be confident in what it is that you have. As I have gone over the years and learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning how to, create a business and consulting business, coaching business, speaking business, I have had to really believe in myself. But I've also had to have the confidence in knowing that what I have within me can be valuable to others who need what I have. And it's so important that if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to move forward in starting your own business after your job layoff, or in finding that next best opportunity that's for you. Because you have to know that you deserve the better. You deserve better. Let me say it again. You deserve better. That if you were laid off your job, that just simply means that your time had come and that there was something better for you later. If you're experiencing it right now, I want to encourage you and let you know that better is coming. Better is here. That job had come to a close. That chapter of your life had come to a close, and it's time to start a new chapter. That's what I want to encourage you with today. And then the last tip, I love the number 7, because number 7 in scripture, I love reading the Bible and understanding certain things in scripture, is the number of completion. And so the last thing is that I want to leave with you today is that you want to just embrace the moment. After being confident, embrace the season so that you can write this new chapter. Embrace all of the opportunities that will come your way in this season. Because the fact of the matter is that Really and truly, I'm recording this video for those who may be experiencing layoff or pending layoff, that your layoff is really a setup for your better. We'll say it again. Your layoff is simply really just a setup for your better, for what's next, for what's to come. And if you don't embrace the season, you could potentially miss out on your better opportunity. You could miss the season of starting that business, of having an opportunity to look and see where are there some problems I can solve. And that's what I did. I had an opportunity to see where there were problems that I can help friends, fraternity brothers, nonprofit organizations with the problems that they were having based on the skills that I had within me. You can thrive after a job layoff. I know I'm not the only person who's been laid off, but I just thought I'd come in and share my story and my tips of encouragement to you to let you know that there is much life. There is a greater life. There is better after a job layoff. These 7 tips are just some simple things that I want to share to get my YouTube back going. And I want you to know that this is going to be a consistent situation where I am uploading videos each and every week. You'll find new videos every Sunday from me for right now. And then I may add a new one somewhere throughout the week, but this is where we're going to be. If you have a desire to really work on your personal brand and learn how to leverage your personal brand for business, personal development is so key in personal branding because you've got to really know who you are and have the right mindset to move forward. And some lifestyle things. I love to share things that I'm doing in my life to be an encouragement to other people. So I hope that you liked today's video. Like I said, we'll be uploading each and every Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel because this is going to be exciting. I am going to commit to uploading each and every week. And I just want to make sure that you understand this, that your best is here. All you have to do is embrace it and take hold of it. Just remember this, always shoot for the top because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Peace.